Earlier today, Fallout 4 got a new update, and actually two of them. Yet unfortunately, things didn't quite go according to plan with the first update. The reason for this secondary update is Bethesda accidentally broke things. Again, the first update seemed to have changed the save game location for Fallout 4. Users on PlayStation and PC were reporting all of their saves missing, except oddly enough on PC, it was now using the Fallout 4 on GOG save game location, which is in a different spot than the Steam version. And even further, the creations menu, which is how you access mods, was also totally removed from the game, which is also a feature of the GOG version coincidentally enough, and honestly probably a feature several people on PC would like to have removed. Thankfully, this was all an issue of locating your save games as opposed to your saves actually being deleted, so almost immediately after the first update, Bethesda pushed out a smaller hotfix about an hour later that does seem to have fully resolved all of this. And this does actually seem to be working. From all of the reports I could find of people losing content, I could find many of them now updating their posts to have that content restored. So if you log into Fallout 4 and find that your save games are missing, make sure you grab that second update. And at this point, if you haven't updated your game at all, this will all likely download as just a singular update. But then of course, there are a variety of other things that the patch was actually intending to change. And if you're on consoles, pay attention. There's a mod limit increase coming. Xbox users will have up to 100 gigabytes of mod space, but you're about to lose your entire load order. So make sure you back things up appropriately. I'll talk more on how to do that a bit later in this video. The real critical fixes that many of you will feel from this update were around crashing. Various crashing problems on PlayStation, Xbox, and even within the creation menu itself were resolved. Very notably, crashing from clicking download all creations was fixed, that was a common one, but also crashes when just loading the game. Several of the crash problems on PlayStation are now gone, and the problem on Xbox where switching profiles would soft lock the entire game was also fixed. And particularly with PlayStation users, some of these crash fixes have been a nice improvement. It seems like crashing in general is lowered, but you can still find plenty of reports of people crashing in Fallout 4 even after this update. It's not like things are totally fixed. And there are still other problems on PlayStation. Even after this patch went live, there are still several users reporting not being able to access their owned DLC. I saw some reports of people having to go through support to get this content back. Either way, it certainly seems like the DLC problems are persisting for a smaller subset of users. It's hard to tell if they're just not activating things correctly, but either way, it is kind of ridiculous that you have to go through these steps when the DLC is owned and purchased and was working a few weeks ago. But like I mentioned before, this update was also a precursor to the big mod space expansion coming in December. As a result, a bunch of the creation menu issues were addressed. The menu should now load even better if you're still having problems there, but also things like the infinite load screen you'd sometimes get when just loading into a game with mods was mostly resolved. That's been a long time issue with Fallout 4. Sometimes you just have to close the game and start over. But it seems like one of the big issues from this creation menu where you'd get stuck loading in has been fixed. As well as that problem where if you entered the mod menu, then exited it and tried to enter again, your game would just freeze was resolved. That one was incredibly frustrating, particularly when the menu wasn't working as much around release. One really nice change though, the load order menu is now organized respective of your actual load order, as opposed to just being alphabetical. So the mods that take priority will now appear at the top instead of the mods starting with an A appearing at top, as well as there are even further updates around bundle pricing. Back when Bethesda laid out some of their upcoming update plans, they mentioned how a mod space increase would be coming with this patch, the November patch. Sadly, they didn't make it in time, so instead it's coming with the December patch, which is likely a few more weeks away. But before this patch, you need to do something if you're on consoles. The update is wiping your load order. This list will be deleted, but you can save your current load order and restore it. To do this, simply go into the creations menu, get into your load order, and click this button at the bottom, Load Order Archive, and you'll be able to save it from here. Bethesda has a really nice article laying this all out if you need a bit more help, but yeah, spread the word on this one. This is a really big change. Consoles are about to get 100 gigabytes of mod space, at least on the Xbox side. Things aren't as confirmed on the PlayStation side, but at the same time, there's likely going to be a ton of very pissed off fans who load in finding their entire load order is gone because they never did this step. Do the step now, don't put it off, and then just enjoy that mod storage increase because it really will be one of the best things to come to this game in a long time. A mountain of mods will now be possible on consoles, and a ton of these are already released on PC. It's just a matter of porting. But even after this patch 1 of the Anniversary Edition, the game is far from perfect. Even here, we are looking at yet another update that's just bringing back functionality we previously had. It's not like any major changes or new additions were added, and even some of the released content still isn't available. The DLC problem persisting on PS5 like I mentioned, but also this free Beast Hunter creation still hasn't dropped on PlayStation. And in general, I still see reports of various paid mods or even the creations bundle not working properly after they purchase them. That's definitely not the experience you want when trying your first paid mod. There is a new free creation coming with the varmint rifle. Bethesda said it'd be dropping this week. As of filming, this hasn't released quite yet, and the new creations tend to be releasing on Wednesdays, so it might be coming tomorrow or maybe just coming a bit later today. But this will be free for everyone, so make sure you grab it and try out some of that new content. And overall, there just really isn't much to be said here. At this point, we are 2 weeks removed from the Anniversary Edition patch, and it's still just in the fixing the original update phase of updates. This is a really bad look for Bethesda. The reviews absolutely reflect that. And when you consider what this all was, the fact that this is kind of the second go-around that they broke things last year and then broke things again this year, I just wouldn't be shocked if a ton of people have walked away from Fallout 4 and maybe even Bethesda games in general as a result of this experience. I know if I wasn't making videos on these, if I was actually just playing for fun, I probably would be playing something else right now. A lot of this is really frustrating and annoying, and at this point, I think just waiting a month to actually get that mod space increase, although make sure you back up your load order, and maybe even some of the other cool free mods to drop might be the best path forward right now. And one of the big questions I'm left with after all of this is, where are things headed? These Fallout 4 updates are kind of creating an odd situation for people on PC. Many players are just using the old version of the game. I know for me, I'm on the pre-next-gen patch from last year. But there obviously is a subset of players attempting things on the most recent update, trying to play some of the Anniversary Edition content, but then also, of course, getting into modding on PC, where you just have more options. With all these updates to Fallout 4, that's becoming increasingly difficult. Of course, mods, especially the script extender, break each time there's an update. And now we're starting to see a bit of a backlog where things are broken, having to be updated fairly regularly as we're getting these frequent bug-fixing patches for Fallout 4. I just wonder at a certain point if some of the mod authors will not be keeping up. But also, of course, when is the end of these updates? Last year, Bethesda broke the game, released one update after that, and then just abandoned it. This year, they seem to be doing a bit better. The Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition patch is titled Patch 1, that one to come out earlier today. So it does make me think that we'll be getting a longer tail of support this time around. They obviously want to continue supporting their paid mods and making revenue from that, but I find the game in a weird spot right now. How much more support is Bethesda giving this? Are we going to see other bugs getting addressed in Fallout 4? There are plenty of lingering ones all the way from 10 years ago that would be nice to get fixed, but now they're in an even weirder situation where further updates are even frustrating the community more, especially as these updates keep breaking things. Basically, all of these most recent Fallout 4 updates, the hotfix, this one, and the original Anniversary update, have had some kind of problem. Thankfully, with this most recent one, they were very quick to address that, but at this point, it just really seems like all of these changes around a decade-old game have led to a massive hit to their reputation. It'll be interesting to see how this lasts if things start to change going forward with future releases like the Elder Scrolls 6. Get subscribed for more. I will be covering some of the new paid mod releases for those of you that are interested. I think there are a couple of actual cool ones in there, but also a bunch of free mods have been coming, and I will be doing a ton of content on all of that.